Started as a platform to unite African youth, the Youth League became a training ground for future leaders. Its primary role was to reinforce the ANC in its struggle for the national liberation of the African people and uniting youth. It was the first formation to push for strikes and defiance tactics against the then government. Under the leadership of Anton Limbede, Nelson Mandela, SB Mda, Walter Sisulu and Oliver Tambo, the League sought to radicalize the ANC. The Youth League has over the years influenced the face of ANC leadership. After the banning of liberation movements in the 1960s, members of the Youth League would be central in the formation of the ANC's military wing, Umkhondo Wesizwe. Many young people were ready to pursue military training, but some leaders of the ANC discouraged them. With South Africa's economy experiencing a boom and the National Party government consolidating apartheid policies, the 1960s saw a decline in black political activity.
This served as a double-edged sword against us as the ANC youth leadership when in 1962, in the aftermath of the launch of Umkhondo Wesizwe MK, we met with Dumanokwe to tell him that the youth thought the non-violent strategy had run its course. They supported the option of armed struggle and demanded to join MK.
Anti-apartheid political activity saw a resurgence in the 1970s. The backlash from the 1976 Soweto uprising led to many leaders being imprisoned. Some fled the country into exile. Then the ANC youth section was established. Its task to look after the welfare of youth and mobilizing them internationally.
It was a time when you would have had both a process of negotiation and also a process of establishing a new democracy in our country. At the time I was president of the ANC Youth League. It was also a time wherein you needed to strike a balance between assisting in propelling the negotiation process through mass activity, at the same time being prepared to run or rather transform a country through youth development programs.
The 80s saw heightened youth mobilizations, starting with the formation of student formation courses. Then the ANC set up a national committee to unite all youth congresses. This led to the South African Youth Congress led by Peter Mokaba.
Many have suffered, they've lost years of youth, they never knew what to be youth is.
In 1990, after the unbanning of liberation movements by the apartheid regime, a provisional national youth committee re-established the ANC Youth League. Peter Mokaba became its first president.
Even our government really needs to recognize.
And after 1994, the League redefined its aims, which were now mobilizing the youth behind the ANC vision of the country's future. It is now viewed as a strong body of opinion and a preparatory school for the ANC.
The Youth League is a necessary, absolutely necessary vehicle and pain to the African National Congress. It's a necessary headache cause to the African National Congress. If the ANC is not going to have a headache cause, it will simply degenerate like other liberation movement, comfort of incumbency, and at the same time forgetting the interest of the people. So the Youth League is there to bring this necessary pain, but at the same time generate new ideas.
The League has been in the news recently for its march for economic freedom. They are pushing what is seen as a radical agenda of the nationalization of mines and the expropriation of land without compensation, while some of its present leaders are appealing a possible suspension from the party.
It must always push for change, both in terms of leadership, but also in terms of policy. It must make the ANC to be relevant forever. It must be a lifeblood of the African National Congress. So when you suppress the Youth League, you are actually stopping the heart of the ANC from beating.
With its history, which is so intertwined with that of its mother body, the ANC, which turns 100 in a few days, it remains to be seen if the League will continue to maintain its radical character. Solo Feloma TVD, SABC News.